It's Rebecca. So it is Memorial Day, and it's quite a sacred day because of who we're remembering. And as I look around at everything that I have, and this country that I have, as screwed up as it is because people put their lives on the line to keep it safe, to watch out for it, and it's extraordinary. My beloved stepdad, Charles the Man, Charlie, I have a tattoo of the 3rd Marine Division, which is the division he was in World War II. He fought on Bougainville, Guam, and Iwo Jima. I was 16 years old when I first met him. He had been set up as a blind date from my mom soon after her divorce from my pretty bad, cruel dad. And so she was paranoid as hell. And so she went on the date, and then, I'm waiting in my room, and she goes flying in my room. She goes, "That man wants another date. That man asked me out for another date. I don't know what to do." And I said, "Did you have fun at the date?" "Yes, I did. We danced. I haven't danced in 20 years. And I said, "Well, then, did you say yes?" "Yes, I did, but now I wonder if I should call." No. Say yes. So the next weekend, car pulls up, and out steps this little tiny dapper man. He's maybe 5'3", 5'4". My mom was 5'1". He's barely taller than her. And he was dressed beautifully in this suit, and he had this bunch of roses that I could smell from, I was sitting on the front step. And he comes up, and he had the roses in a baggie wrapped in foil. And I said, "Are you Charles the Man?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Have her back by midnight." That's how Charlie and I met. And he changed my life. He showed me that men could be kind. I didn't think of it as any kind of prejudice or anything like that. I just assumed that men were not kind. That's how it was. That's what my grandma had taught me and my mother had taught me. Even my paternal grandma had taught me that men are just like that. Charlie wasn't like that. Charlie was kindness itself. He was fierce, but he was kind. So when we first started interviewing for the books, he fought on 3 islands, Bougainville, Guam, and Iwo Jima. And so we started interviewing, and we decided to split it into 3 books because there was just too much for one book. It would have been like 10 phone books. He just talked about matter-of-factly little acts of selflessness and kindness that he did throughout the war in the midst of literal hell. Things he did. He and his one buddy got caught in a mortar barrage. They were going downhill because they heard that the Seabees had coffee. And they volunteered to go, get the coffee. And they all had everybody's canteens. And Charlie said, "You see the first mortar hit, boom." And he says, "And you have to wait to see where the next one's going to hit so you know what kind of grid pattern they're doing." So the next one hit, and Charlie dove in a shell hole, and the other guy didn't make it. He got hit by shrapnel, and Charlie crawled out of the hole, dragged him back in the hole, and his, padding his big ugly wound on his shoulder. And he kept him down there, had him covered with his own body in this hole until the barrage stopped. And then Charlie got him back down the hill, carried him on his little teeny weeny back, this great big Marine. Had a big old chunk of shrapnel in his shoulder blade. So the guy was thinking he was going to die because there's so much blood. And he said, "Get my flag. I want you to have my flag, my flag in my pack. You go back and you have that. Go get that flag. I want you to have it. Charlie's like, I don't need your flag. Just take the flag. You got to take it. So he said, okay. So he, dropped him off in the med tent, went back, and he saw the canteens all over the ground. And he thought, well, they'll shoot me if I don't bring back coffee. So he got a big stick, and he strung the canteen straps on the stick, and he carried them all back down. And he comes back with canteens full of hot coffee. And his buddies are like, what the hell happened to you? And he told them. So he went to the guy's pack, and he had a folded Japanese flag in it that had a bullet hole in it. And so Charlie put it in his own pack. And when the guy came back, because it wasn't as bad a injury as they had thought, it was a mess, but, they fixed it. He came back, and he tried to give him back the flag, and the guy goes, no, that flag's yours. You saved my life. You keep that flag. That's my number one possession. I want you to have it. And now I have that flag because Charlie gave it to me. The memories of every single one of these warriors who fought and died, and Charlie saw a lot die, to protect our country can never be overstated. So happy Memorial Day. And happy Memorial Day, Charlie. I'm going to eat hot dogs, maybe a hamburger, and think of you. I do it every day anyway. Happy Memorial Day.